create content to teach them first and foremost. That's why I started this whole thing, is just reading stories to them that I felt like didn't exist. Our kids are athletes, and they love reading about princesses and all these fairy tales, and they get a little sick and tired about the man saving the princess every time, and the same old stuff, magical wands and all that. My kids are athletes, man. They want to learn about soccer balls and basketballs and volleyballs and magic that comes from that.
Yeah, and I love that you're encouraging young people to think more imaginatively about sports.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you go a step deeper. For me, observing you and learning about you and hearing you speak in other interviews and everything, what I'm fascinated by is that you've dealt with things in life pretty head on, right? You've always gone at it. What took you a while? What was something in your life that you were shy about originally, or that took you a while to go head on with, but then finally you got there and you figured it out?
Writing Dear Basketball. That was a hard jump. Because I'd written before. I started writing probably about 17 years ago. And so practicing every day, a lot of things that I wrote were ads. And so,
yo, good morning, everybody. So welcome to Coffee and Crypto. We're about to go ahead and get started. I'm not taking no time. We're not listening to no videos this morning because we got a lot of stuff to cover. So welcome. Please help me drop this link. But if people are not on, hey, it's completely up to them. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Zoom. I will also have these recordings up on all other platforms for our podcast. But welcome to the call. This is episode number 62. All right, and we're just going to dive straight into this thing. All right, so we're straight. It is a lot of stuff happening right now in crypto. The number one thing that's happening right now is Sam Bankman-Fried. All right, today is episode 62. All right, and Sam Bankman-Fried has now been arrested by the Bahamian government. Okay, so this is really, really big. This is very important. This is a pivotal move. This is a pivotal play inside of the cryptocurrency space. All right, why is this so important? Because this is what most people are waiting on, right? For people to feel more comfortable with the government, for people to feel like, hey, the government is making certain plays and certain moves toward our trust, to gain our trust. This man had to be arrested. Now, it's unfortunate he's been arrested because today is December 13th, and and what's happening right now is that the Congress is having their committee meeting for the FTX debacle. So the CEO, or the CEO before, the past CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, he's not going to be there. Okay, he will not be there because he's been arrested. Now, let's read into this. This is the New York Times. It says, follow our live coverage of the arrest of Sam Bankman-Fried here, so you can follow that. Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced founder of the collapsed cryptocurrency exchange, FTX, was arrested in the Bahamas on Monday after U.S. prosecutors filed criminal charges. Sam Bankman-Fried's arrest followed receipt of formal notification from the United States that it has filed criminal charges against Sam Bankman-Fried and is likely to request his extradition. The government of the Bahamas said in a statement, the arrest was the latest stunning development and one of the most dramatic falls from grace in recent corporate history. All right, Mr. Bankman-Fried, 30 years old, was scheduled to testify in Congress on Tuesday, today. All right, which was one of the most powerful firms in the emerging crypto industry. They were exposed an $8 billion hole in its accounts. Prosecutors for the Southern District of New York confirmed that Mr. Bankman-Fried had been charged and said an indictment would be unsealed on Tuesday. Separately, the Securities and Exchange Commission said in a statement that it has authorized charges relating to Mr. Bankman-Fried's violation of our securities laws. And this is a tweet that they actually put out on Twitter, all right, from Goober Gruwal. We commend our law enforcement partners for securing the arrest of Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, so they're securing the arrest of him on federal criminal charges. The SEC has authorized separate charges relating to his violation of securities laws to be filed publicly tomorrow in SDNY. Okay, now this is important. Okay, this is important and unexpected, because now that the government went and the real law enforcement went and arrested this guy, now the Securities Exchange Commission comes in and says, Another easy win for the SEC. You know, they're probably, you know, Jeremy Hogan, the lawyer behind the SEC versus Ripple case. He came out with his last statement after the summary briefs. The last summary briefs between both parties have been published, and he was saying that there is, I believe, about a 50% chance, roughly right there in the middle, that Ripple will win the lawsuit. So 50%. He gave us 3 to 4 different ways that this thing could go. You can find this on Jeremy Hogan's YouTube channel, but he talked about there's about 4 different ways that this thing can go. 50% is looking at it as a Ripple win. All right, the other one would be a settlement. The third would be the SEC just winning, and the fourth would be pretty much the judge, which is unlikely, but the judge just passing this thing over. Right, basically passing it over to a trialed case. So now getting a jury involved and allowing this thing to actually go to a grander trial where another judge and the jury can actually deem what's going to happen with this. Why is this important? Right? Why is this important? It's important because of the fact that if, you know, honestly, he was Jeremy Hogan was saying that this could be the likely thing, even though it's his lowest percentile of what would happen. He says like a 6% chance this would happen. But he said the reason why it's logical for it to happen is because the judge doesn't know enough about crypto. There's too many things that the judge would have to put on the line. And so in order to protect that judge's I would say just protect them, protect their reputation, she's probably going to maybe pass this over to a jury. And that's not something that we want to see as XRP holders, but it is what it is. That means that this case, if it is passed to the jury, if it is passed to another court, that means that we will not see this trial happen until the summer or later of 2023. So these are the things that are happening right now inside of the SEC and Ripple case, because so the SEC is saying, you know what? Any win we can get, we won against Library, they won against a couple of other companies, and now we can come out of the woodworks. They have been very quiet about FTX, and now they can come out of the woodworks and say, hey, we're going to charge you guys as well for violating securities laws, since that is what they're supposed to regulate. All right, this is the biggest news that's happening in cryptocurrency right now. So Sam Bankman-Fried is under Bahamian police custody. I don't know if he's going to be sent and brought back over here to the United States, or if they're going to hold him. They're also saying that the Bahamian government is actually looking to actually charge Sam Bankman-Fried and the entire FTX and Alameda crew. They're looking to charge them as well. So now they'll have Bahamian charges and they will have United States charges, which does not look good, all right, for that team. But we'll continue to watch and see kind of what unfolds in regards to this. All right, now, this was kind of cool. I just saw this on Instagram. It really has nothing to do with the show today, but I thought that this was pretty crazy. So new endless energy, all right, breakthrough scientists have worked on for decades is here. Endless energy. I want you guys to watch this video really fast.
Nuclear scientists call it the holy grail of clean energy they've been chasing for decades. NBC News confirming the Department of Energy is expected to announce tomorrow that researchers at the Lawrence Livermore National Lab in California have used lasers to produce a nuclear fusion reaction that creates energy. A huge breakthrough in producing an endless supply of clean, cheap power without radioactive waste or fossil fuel emissions.
This is a hurrah moment for humanity, and it's going to create the backbone of stable, reliable power 24/7 to drive that entire ecosystem of electrified things.
Governments have spent billions of dollars chasing the fusion dream, trying to replicate how the sun produces energy. While it's unlikely fusion could be used in cars, scientists say once fully developed, it could power entire cities and the batteries inside our cars. But that could take a decade or more.
So, and this is from the Financial Times. It says U.S. government scientists have made a breakthrough in pursuit of limitless zero carbon power. I guess this does have a lot to do with what we're going to talk about today, actually. So I take that statement back. All right. But by achieving a net energy gain in a fusion reaction for the first time, according to 3 people with knowledge of preliminary results from a recent experiment. Physicists have since the 1950s, this has been going on since the 50s, sought to harness the fusion reaction that powers the sun, but no group has been able to produce more energy from reaction than it consumes, a milestone known as net energy gain or target gain, which would help prove the process could provide a reliable, abundant alternative to fossil fuels and conventional, nuclear energy. This is what is going on right now. The federal Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California, which uses a process called inertial confinement fusion that involves bombarding a tiny pellet of hydrogen plasma with the world's biggest laser, had achieved net energy gain in a fusion experiment in the past 2 weeks, the people said. This is really huge, moving toward what we know the World Economic Forum's main goal is. And so I want to show you guys this video because this is perfect. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Check this video out. So you eat less meat, right? Meat will be a treat, right? Why? Because it's terrible for our environment, right? I mean, that's what they're saying, right? I mean, we're moving to a net zero carbon neutral energy world, right? We'll notice that you'll own nothing and you'll rent everything. Everything will be for rent. Nothing will have actual ownership. So things will just go from one person's hands to the next person's hands. When they're done with it, to the next person's hands, right? And we're noticing that this is a thing now, right? This is a thing now. It's not something that has not already happened. Like, this is a thing now. They're pushing us away from eating meat, right? The vegan diet is becoming the plant-based diet. I won't even call it vegan. The plant-based diet, right? And they call it plant, but now they're making foods in laboratories. They're making fake meat in laboratories, real meat, clones in laboratories, right? They said that you won't even have to wait for an organ. They're just going to print an organ. I don't know how that works. I don't know how they became God, but they're going to print organs. They're not playing. They're going to take us to Mars. Elon Musk is already planning on it, right? So it is a thing that this is where we're moving to. And why? Because of what's happening in technology. Things are changing faster and faster and faster. And then we move into this right here, right? Australia talking about the vaccine verification certificates linked to digital IDs. This is an older video, but I want to show you guys exactly, again, continuing to show you what's happening. We have new people watching the show. I met a lot of people yesterday. They're probably still at this conference, the Hope Global Forum. I went to the Hope Global Forum yesterday here in Atlanta, listened to the CEO. I listened to the CEO of Delta. He talked about everything and how they're moving toward this whole 2030 change. I listened to on the same panel, you had I'm sorry, y'all, I'm drawing a blank here, but his name is Andrew Young, okay, who the international airport is built after. Okay, Andrew Young, who is a civil rights leader. And they talked about, there was a great panel about civil rights versus silver rights, right? So civil rights versus economic rights, and how we don't have economic rights as minorities, or and minorities, not just Black people. Minorities is a grander scheme of things. Really, a minority is someone who lacks information, who lacks resources. If you lack information, you lack resources, you lack the proper tools that's necessary for you to become a majority, you are a minority. And so there's more than just Black and Hispanics and Asian people who are dealing, okay, with social injustice, economic injustice, but Caucasians, white people are dealing with it as well. Okay, this is huge. They said yesterday, let me take out my notes. I got to share some stuff from the forum. I want to tell you guys what they said yesterday. Okay, so the other guy that was actually on the panel, you had Andrew Young, you had Benjamin Chavez. If you don't know, he was he worked closely with Dr. Martin Luther King. All right, I got to listen to these people and the CEO of Delta all on one panel. This was huge. Like, we're talking about events. They said that the connection between civil rights and economic rights is a real thing. People move to Atlanta for education and money. This is why people move here for years. Okay. They also said it took a pandemic for us all to pause and reset. Right. It took a pandemic for everybody to pause and reset. I'm trying to figure out where is this thing that the note that I took. He said economic and social justice are, I said interoperable just because I made up my own. I wanted to put that word in there, but they're interoperable, right? You got to understand that they, like, everything is connected, right? Support injustice, economic, social, environment, civil rights, all of these things are connected, interconnected. He said, here it is, 64% of people in this country couldn't get $400 during an emergency during the COVID pandemic. Okay, during the pandemic, 64%. He said the numbers are probably higher today, but during 2020, 64%. Listen, 64% of people in this country, the richest country in the world, couldn't get $400 during an emergency. Delta CEO said that if you are an employee for Delta, they offer free, something that Delta prides themselves about is they offer free financial literacy courses. If you are an employee of Delta, you can take these courses, and if you take enough of these courses, they will put $1,000 per employee. They will put $1,000 per employee aside for a day where you might need $400. The CEO of Delta said 64% of people are not able to get $400. I need you all to realize that there's not many companies that's doing that. So they really praised Delta yesterday at this forum because they are making initiatives like this to make sure. Now, here's the thing. How many of the $1,000 are they doing? Probably not a lot, because people don't take financial literacy serious, especially at the employee level. So although they have it, although they tell people still, because they work long hours, they won't take the necessary hours after work to make sure they have at least $1,000 set to the side. This is the future, right? Now, Listen to this video. All right, we're talking about the vaccine verification certificates linked to digital IDs. Listen to what this gentleman in Australia had to say.
COVID vaccination could become our future ticket to international travel and possibly even determine where you can shop or eat. So how do you prove you've had it? Nine's Fiona Willan explains.
Once you get a COVID-19 jab, you can access your vaccination certificate in 4 ways: through the vaccine provider, the Express Plus Medicare app, by contacting Services Australia, or by logging into your MyGov account and visiting Medicare, where you'll find it on the Australian Immunisation Registry. And to make that process more secure, the government has now linked MyGov to the nation's digital ID system, MyGov ID.
And of course, the vaccination certificate that'll be available for Australians will be available through MyGov, and digital identity is the safest, easiest way to access MyGov.
The digital ID isn't just for downloading your vaccination certificate. It can currently be used to access 75 government services online, and the plan is to expand it to the private sector so that you can use it to check your bank details or your electricity bill. It replaces the traditional 100-point ID check that you'd usually do at a bank or Australia Post.
Well, if you want a quick, simple interaction with a government service, you can use your digital ID rather than presenting physical ID.
2 million Australians have signed up for a digital identity, and the government wants more people to do it as the vaccination program ramps up to ensure your details are more secure and you're the only person who can access your certificate.
Fiona, thank you.
So that is, these are things that's happening now. Breaking news just hit my phone, all right, on Twitter, so I got to go show it. All right, breaking news. Sam Bankman-Fried is facing 8 charges, which could total up to 165 years in prison. Unsealed indictment shows. All right, poor guy. Somebody said I was hoping 170. People crazy there. Hey, so I was hoping 170. People is ruthless on Twitter, man. All right, but I just wanted to break that news to you all. As we're on the show, I'm literally making sure I'm checking my phone. Any live updates that's coming in regards to Sam Bankman-Fried, I'll get them first through my Twitter feed. So I will continue to stop the show and show different things as we're continuing to unfold what's happening here. All right, now let's continue to push forward. This right here was an AMA from Charles Hoskinson, who was one of the original founders of Ripple, okay, the XRP ledger, okay, and he is the founder of Cardano. If you did not know, ADA, Cardano. Listen to this clip. There is a rumor that this case will be settled 12/15/2022. That's 2 days away. So we may see a settlement, and it's the same thing that the lawyers have been saying that I've been reading on Twitter as well. So we may see a settlement. All right. And will this send the price of XRP to the moon? Probably not. Probably not, depending on where this goes. So I don't want you guys to be faked out and feel like we're going to see a $10 XRP in the next 2 days. I believe that something fishy is going to happen. We are not done seeing the bottom yet. Let's be honest.
Fourth, I would believe that then Ethereum and Bitcoin would also be securities, and they'd be in a bigger debacle. And this problem with regulations through enforcement, there's not much you can do. Just any given Sunday, it's whoever the regulator decides to pick, and then there's a big fight. $100 million is spent. It's brutal and vicious, and a lot of hard feelings. And sometimes people win, sometimes people don't. I've heard rumors that the Ripple case will be settled December 15th, and we'll just see. And that could have catastrophic implications for the industry, one way or the other. But you just keep moving forward. Regardless of what happens, it's a decentralized ecosystem that you guys control. And the United States of America doesn't get to say that Cardano lives or dies. You do, the world. Okay, that's the point. Fourth.
All right, so we may see, just wanted to show you all that. That was from a surprise AMA that happened on the 10th. So we may see a settlement. I mean, again, this guy was one of the co-founders. He dropped the gem. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But, for the people that's wondering when this thing will settle, Jeremy Hogan said that if it does settle, or if they win, it'll happen very soon, because this is it. right? If they settle, it'll happen very soon. But if they choose to push this to a jury-based court case, then we won't see any settlement. We won't see anything. I don't think it's a bad thing that settlement happens. And I got a couple of other videos that'll show you guys some things. And then this is my last, this is not my last video, but this is the video that I want to show you all from the UK. All right. And it's showing that London is ready.
Crypto ecosystem, money market funds experienced acute liquidity strains. You all remember that. This reflected a structural liquidity mismatch at the heart of their operations, with them offering on-demand liquidity to investors while at the same time investing in more illiquid assets. That is because we must contend with potentially new sources of financial stability risk. For example, one area in which the financial system is adapting to new technologies is in the so-called crypto assets and decentralized finance, DeFi. Crypto assets are exceptionally volatile and pose considerable risks to consumers. Recall.
Pose considerable risks to consumers. But what about the hedge funds, corporations, and banks and central banks that's investing into these? Does it pose a risk to them? I don't know. She didn't say.
After peaking in November 21, that was just a year ago, the price of Bitcoin fell by almost 75% in 1 year. And only last month, we saw the chaotic, complete collapse of FTX, a crypto asset exchange once valued at $32 billion and a critical player in that field. While the impact of such episodes has been contained so far, systemic risk could easily arise from increasing interlinkages between the crypto ecosystem and the traditional financial system. Policymakers, including macroprudential authorities, must carefully consider if and how the crypto ecosystem needs to be regulated.
Here it comes.
Europe has been at the forefront here with the agreement on the markets in crypto assets regulation, also known as MiCA.
All right. I'm about to get ready. This is about to get bullish. Like the Sam Bankman-Fried stuff, like I had to cover that. But we're really about to deep dive now. All right. I need for y'all to do me a favor. All right. I need for y'all to do me. I got a story to tell you. Then I got some video content. We're about to really deep dive. I need you guys to go and drop this link everywhere. It is time. All right, Michael, shout out to Michael Branch for sending me this next video. He actually just jumped. I didn't even send him the link. He just jumped on the show. Shout out to Michael Branch for being consistent, always showing up and just always sending me content. He sent me a text and said, I'm not sending this to everybody. he said that was the first text. He said, I'm not sending this to everybody. So I don't even know if I should be showing this, honestly, but I want to leak it. I want to leak at least a little bit of some of the content that he sent me. It was absolutely incredible. Before I do that, I need you guys to go and blast this out. Let people know that it's about to get really serious on coffee and crypto right now. Like we are in the last stages. This Ripple case could settle tomorrow. It could settle on the 15th. It could settle on the 16th. It could settle on January 1st. People need to have their behinds on a call like this. Please do me a favor and drop this link. But before I need to see the numbers grow, or I'm not going to play the video. I need to see the numbers grow. I don't care if it's one person. I need to see the numbers grow. All right. But while we're waiting on the numbers to grow, I want to talk to you guys about something. I was at the Hope Global Forum yesterday, and I was talking to the mayor of Seal, Chicago. I don't know the exact city, but the mayor of this city was there, and I had a long conversation about crypto with him. Like it was absolutely incredible. And one of my mentors who's in real estate, he was talking of, you know, he's very biased. He's only really interested in real estate, all these things. And I can understand. I mean, number one, he's older. So this ain't really his thing. This ain't his space. But he respects my hustle. He respects what I do. So check this out. Talking to the mayor of Chicago, well, the mayor of a city inside of Illinois. It wasn't Chicago. It was a city that's on the outskirts of Chicago. And so basically, he was telling me that, well, he was like, I know a little bit about crypto, but I don't know a whole lot. By the end of our conversation, we talked for maybe 10, 15 minutes. He said, dude, I've learned more in 5 minutes than I've ever learned in my whole life in regards to crypto. And he said, I feel comfortable with investing into this space. What we talked about, someone challenged me, actually one of my mentors, he challenged me and he said, yo, he was like, what cryptos? He said something, I don't really know what exactly he said, but it led me to say this. I told him there's no asset in the world that we've ever seen go from $4,000, $5,000 to almost 70 grand in 1 year. I said, Bitcoin is a test. And what you have to understand is it is showing us what is possible in these markets. Okay. You can miss everything else if you want to, but you got to understand that there's no other asset. Gold doesn't move this way. Silver doesn't move this way. Stocks doesn't move this way. There's no other asset class in the world that moves supernaturally like cryptocurrency. Right. And so I want to show you all from this moment forward, okay, some super bullish content. I appreciate you all for dropping the link. We got a few more people that popped in. Shout out to the YouTube fam. All right. And shout out to everybody that'll see this video later. But without further ado, I'm going to show you all a video. Okay. A couple minutes. I got 2 segments out of this full 52-minute video that I want to show you all. Okay. Now, number one, this is from Andy Schectman. Okay. Andy Schectman. Who is Andy Schectman? All right. He is the president and owner of Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investment. Miles Franklin is anything but an ordinary gold and silver coin company. All right. Our approach provides a creative strategy for diversifying one's assets with precious metals. This strategy has been yielding positive results for clients nationwide since 1989. Okay. Who is this guy? Andy Schectman. Prior to starting Miles Franklin in 1989, Andrew became a licensed financial planner, specializing in Swiss franc investments and alternative investments. At Miles Franklin Ltd., a company that has eclipsed $5 billion in sales, Andrew has developed an operation that maintains trust, collaboration, and ethical behavior, superior customer service, and satisfaction to better serve their clients. He is responsible for overseeing the firm's operations and business functions, including strategy and planning, account management, and finance and new business. Okay, this is the place where you can go and purchase gold, silver, palladium, platinum, and other precious metals. Okay, this is a legal broker, a licensed broker here in the United States. All right, now let's dive into this segment of the video right here. Shout out to Black Swan Capitalists.
Congress Mooney, who's recently introduced the Gold Standard Restoration Act. I'm sure you saw that, right?
Yep, I did.
Yeah. So as you can see, even the United States is getting ready to introduce some sort of new currency.
I think it's inevitable. I do believe it is inevitable. And they asked, I believe it was Ernest Hemingway, how'd you go broke, Ernest? And his answer was, I think what our answer will be, how did the dollar collapse? Little by little, and then all of them.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. I don't think y'all can actually see my screen. I don't think y'all can see my screen. So give me 1 second. I don't think y'all can. So I'm going to share. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my desktop. There we go.
And that's how Ernest Hemingway went broke. That's how the dollar will collapse. The little by little is you are seeing the de-dollarization around the globe. And even though the dollar is strong in its relation to the dollar index, that's because it's measured against a bunch of basket case currencies.
that are in worse shape than we are, Australia and Canada and the United Kingdom and Japan. And so from a standpoint of the dollar index, fine, it has a relative strength, but look at what it's buying here at home, and look at the prospect of it really doing anything, standing up against countries that are massively accumulating gold and coming together under an admitted new standard that will be pegged to commodities. I believe ultimately, inevitably, if you are fully invested in dollars, you're destined to go broke. And I don't know when that happens, little by little, then all at once. But what I do think is that when we accumulate things like cryptocurrencies and precious metals, I think if you approach it from at least even cryptocurrencies, okay, if you look at your cryptocurrencies from the standpoint of it being wealth, not getting wealthy from them, not looking at it as an investment, but as wealth, you, I think, will have a much easier time choosing which cryptocurrency to buy, understanding the role of precious metals, and not doing things for the wrong reason, not inverting your pyramid. What I mean by that is that when you look at things that are speculative, that are high yielding potential, make a lot of money, those should be at the very tip of your financial pyramid. And the base of your pyramid should be things that are stable, that are low growth, low risk, low yield. Now, when I think of silver as an example, I think you could argue that its potential performance puts it at the top of the pyramid. Yet it's been wealth for 5,000 plus years. I look at it as very conservative. This silver eagle that I'm holding, you know, to me, it's not anything speculative. I can feel this, I can hold it, and I can give it to my daughter, who can give it to her daughter someday, who can give it to her daughter someday. And in the year 3000, when my grandkids are spending this, my great grandkids are spending this, God willing, long after the money in my wallet is hanging from a frame in the Smithsonian, this will still be immutable wealth. Now, I don't look at this as speculative, although the return potential for it is extraordinary. And anyway, so I just think that people need to look to alternative investments right now, because the dollar ultimately is going to collapse. When or how or what the trigger is, we don't know. Perhaps it's the fact that there's $85 trillion in FX swap debt, more or less missing because it's off the balance sheets, and it all comes due within the next year. So you have $85 trillion in foreign currency swaps, which is a derivative, which is not on the balance sheets. And of that, I don't know, a third of it or 2/3 of it is non-bank debt off of corporations who are making these currency swaps, which are derivatives that are not on their balance sheet, but all of this debt, almost all of it comes due in 2023, $85 trillion worth. Maybe that's the thing, a bang blows up the whole system, creates a derivative time bomb. Wow. And the way all of these banks are incestuously connected, this systemic risk of holding dollars right now and being fully invested in dollars and all of your money in a bank is historically high. This is why we're looking for an exodus to out of the system to things like precious metals and cryptocurrencies. It is not to get wealthy. Now, you very well may get wealthy. And if you own enough precious metals, you will be wealthy. Right. But that's not why I talk about it. To your question, I think it's just a matter of time and something, whether it be FTX, whether it be all the derivatives that have come due in 2023. And this is not just from me. The Bank of International Settlements just published a report last week saying this is a huge problem. It's a time bomb waiting to go off. $85 trillion worth of missing dollar debt. And they call it missing because it's not on the balance sheets, but they know that it all comes due in 2023, 1-year maturities. And as things slow down and companies start to default, so the whole premise of a derivative is counterparty's ability to perform. That's what gives it its value. And if the counterparty can't perform, then the whole thing starts to go haywire, and everyone is connected. And it's, I think, ultimately the dollar collapses. The question is, what is the trigger? And there are a million of them out there, not least to say the massive de-dollarization by the world's central banks in pursuit of things like precious metals.
Right. No.
All right. I got one more segment to show, another 9-minute piece of this video, but we're not gonna skip over what he talked about. Y'all know I had to go pull it. Y'all know I had to go and pull it. So this is straight off of the Bank of International Settlements .org's website. Dollar debt in FX swaps and forwards, huge, missing, and growing. Listen to what this guy right here had to say.
Some foreign exchange derivatives, such as FX swaps, forwards, and currency swaps, require that the full principal amount be exchanged at maturity. This distinguishes them from other types of derivatives in which the principal is not exchanged. Banks and non-bank financial firms are the biggest users of FX swaps. They use them to fund and hedge portfolios as well as to take positions. Most FX swaps have the US dollar on one side and have very short maturities. This makes FX swap markets vulnerable to dollar funding squeezes. We saw this during the Great Financial Crisis and again in March 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic went global. Because the payment obligations from FX swaps are not recorded on the balance sheet, they are generally not picked up in standard debt statistics. Yet the scale of the dollar payment obligations is staggering, at more than $80 trillion in mid-2022. The bulk of this dollar debt is likely owed by entities outside the United States for which the US dollar is a foreign currency. As of mid-2022, non-banks outside the United States owed as much as $26 trillion in such missing debt, up from $17 trillion in 2016. This is roughly double their dollar debt on their balance sheets. Similarly, non-US banks owed upwards of $35 trillion, compared to an estimated $15 trillion in dollar debt on their balance sheets. Since this debt is missing in standard debt statistics, it is difficult for analysts to anticipate the scale and geography of dollar rollover needs. Policymakers need statistics that better capture these short-term off-balance sheet obligations.
Wow. So let's go to let's keep it elementary here. Okay, let's keep it elementary. All right. So we are in 31, and this thing going, I think it's going faster now. Like, it didn't go this fast. It's going faster. So we are $31 trillion in the US in debt. Okay. No other countries looking like that. We're in $31 trillion in debt with a 33 million plus population, not even a billion population. So understand this. This is what's recorded. This is what recorded, 31 trillion. But if we go back to this document right here, okay, let's read. So it says FX swaps, forwards, and currency swaps create forward dollar payment obligations that do not appear on balance sheets and are missing in standard debt statistics. Okay, missing in standard debt statistics. Okay, now non-banks outside the United States owe as much as 25 trillion in such missing debt, up from 17 trillion in 2016. Non-US bank owe upwards of 35 trillion. Much of this debt is very short-term, and the resulting rollover needs make for dollar funding squeezes. Policy responses to such squeezes include central bank swap lines that are in a fog, all right, and little information about the geographic distribution of the missing debt. Okay, so FX swap. So what we noticed, all right, he pretty much talked about all this stuff inside of the video, but what is pretty amazing and pretty crazy to me is how all of these FX swaps are due. They have a short turnaround time period. They're actually due. This entire debt, this 80 trillion or however much trillion, I'm not here to have it exactly on point, but this amount, these trillions of dollars that are due in FX swaps in the derivatives market, what we're going to notice is this debt is going to be needed to be paid in 2023. We only have about a year left, maybe less than that, in order to pay off this debt. And so the question really comes, if we cannot pay this debt off, if these non-US banks, these institutional investors, these hedge funds, if they cannot pay this money back, what happens to the US dollar? That's the real question. That's the question of a lifetime. That's the question that we're about to find out, because it's about to play out. We don't have to guess. We don't have to worry about it. We're going to see. They're going to show us what's going to happen very, very soon. Now, I want to go ahead and fast forward to this section of the video right here. Okay. And I want you guys to listen up and pay attention to this last about 8 minutes of this video that I wanted to show.
Yes, Bank of International Settlement
Came from retail investors, stolen.
The BIS, Bank of International Settlements, which is the central banker's central bank, has come out and said that every country needs to have an operating CBDC, at least those that are part of the BIS. And I don't know how many countries are, but the majority of all of the Western countries are. They have to have a functioning CBDC by 2025. I started saying this publicly in March of 2020 when Nancy Pelosi publicly in her House Subcommittee Finance bill said that viruses can live on currency. I said, it's coming, it's over. And it is. And, on one hand, the reason that most people think they want it is to tighten the noose around people's ability to not pay taxes or to have a black market, or that's all part of it. And certainly the central bank, from the IRS standpoint, or from the standpoint of a fascist government looking to keep their thumb on the public. That's one part of it. But also when you see the way that money is created in the United States, it's done through lending. It has to be lent into existence by the commercial banks. So the Federal Reserve would love the ability to enact monetary policy directly to the public. The second in charge at the Fed, her name is Lael Brainerd. I thought she was going to win it, but they reappointed Powell. I was surprised by that because he, was with Trump, but they reappointed him, and Lael Brainerd was voted vice chair of the Federal Reserve, and her whole thesis is of a modern monetary theory. She's a modern monetary theorist. The abolishing of the commercial banks and dealing monetary policy directly to the public right through their iPhone, whether it be through giving money or taking money back out of digital wallets. So, you have the next in line at the Fed, this is her way of thinking. You're beginning to see it accentuate itself around the globe. As I mentioned with the M-Bridge, which is the cross-interbank or the cross-border central bank digital currency trading vehicle. You have the digital yuan, which is done already over 25 billion. And then you have this new 12-week program that the Fed has embarked upon already, this new Fed coin with MasterCard and a dozen or more of the largest banks that are simulating or mirroring customer wallets within their banks, or customer accounts rather, and they are mirroring it on a blockchain and doing a beta test to see how it would play out and how it will work. So it's here and it's going to happen. And I think we don't have much choice in the effort. They may roll it out on a parallel basis to start, not go fully cashless. But when they flip the switch, kind of like when they said to India, hey, all of these large bills that are in circulation, if they're not turned in within 60 days, you might as well just use them as kindling or toilet paper. So you're going to give you a little bit of time and you have to turn in your paper currency, which is going to create a problem for a lot of people who have illegitimate stashes of money. And this is one of the benefits of going central bank digitally, but it's coming, man. And there's no question about it. I know this is a little bit, I know you're biting your tongue because this is your
Look. I can't make this up. Nigeria limits cash withdrawals to $45 per day for regular people. They can't just flip the switch automatically because there'll be riots. There'll be people that will be outraged. So it's happening, right? It's happening. America's a big country, but it's happening. Let's finish this video.
You're a little bit more proficient in this area and your views on XRP and whatnot. So I'd love to hear what you have to say and what your views on it, because I'm of the opinion that it's a foregone conclusion and it's coming here and probably sooner than most of us would like.
We don't know what's going to be the end game, but for us, the end game is really if the payment rails are going to be using the XRP ledger, right? For us, the end game is really to have access to those deep pools of liquidity. We want to have access to it. That's pretty much it. But it's for certain that financial institutions worldwide are holding massive amounts of XRP, and that sounds like a reserve currency. I just see the adoption taking place. I've been talking about this for quite a while. I've spoken to people up the food chain who've confirmed this too, that this is going to be utilized for the new payment rails for the new financial system. And XRP being what it is, not one country can have leverage over the other. So it's really that neutral ground playing field technology that allows businesses and institutions and governments to move value back and forth.
Do you believe that the SEC will rule this as a security?
Well, if they rule as a security, sure. It's not a big deal, because what happens is, first of all, the SEC sued Ripple. They didn't sue the digital asset XRP, right? So if they sued Ripple and they labeled XRP as a security, okay, $100 million fine, slap on the wrist, they pay it. But guess what? There's no net holding XRP to do what it was originally set out to do, which was to be this neutral ground technology, which has already been adopted by the central banks. They're holding it. I think what they're waiting for is the catalyst to crash the dollar. And when they need that liquidity, then it could be utilized. Again, to answer your question, if they label it as security, okay, the price it drops and it goes even lower because people are scared and they're panicking and they don't understand it as much as some of us do, that they'll sell it. And, there you go. It could flourish to do what it needs to do.
What do you think about the 10 transactions here today or yesterday in total of over 4 billion XRP coins? I was reading that. I didn't quite understand what they were getting at, other than that someone is taking possession of an awful lot of taking and having it delivered to them, an awful lot of XRP coins. I don't know what that means to you, but I've been trying to, after our first meeting, spend as much time as I can digging into this a little bit. And I found it interesting that kind of a volume of a trade not only was spotted, but who's taking possession of that?
I actually haven't researched that, but I do have.
Came off of Bittrex within 1 hour. It says 4.1 billion XRP moved from Bittrex within 1 hour, and that happened yesterday. So
I'll tell you my thoughts on it. It is unbelievable. $4 billion in less than 1 hour. That is not possible nowhere else. And if you don't think, like, these are all tests, like, yeah, they're real transactions, but they're testing the speed of this network. Why do they need to move billions of dollars that fast? There's no use case for it just yet. Like, it has not, the switch is not flipped, family. What y'all got to realize right now is they are testing this technology until they get it right, to where this thing is moving billions of dollars in a matter of my finger snapping. That is where we are headed, and that is what we hold. Will a buyback happen? I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. Like, I ain't gonna lie. They can have it. They can have it. Like, if the buyback, they can have it. At the right price, they can have it all. Because that is what we need to be able to do the things we need, to buy the gold we need, to buy the land we need. We need cash. They're not taking XRP for gold. They're not taking XRP for land yet, necessarily. You can find people, but you need capital. It's coming. It's coming. All right. I'm going to stop this video a little short of my ending point, because I think that we kind of understood the gist of everything. You know, we know what we hold. We know what we hold. We show up to this show to continue to just share this information. We show up to this show to continue to just stick together. Like Jamel said last week, we got to stick together. So with that being said, I appreciate you all for sticking with me. This ain't even about, like, it don't even matter at this point. Like, it don't matter. Like, it does not matter, family. Like, it does not matter how many people want to listen, how many people want to believe. My answer to people is this: either you buy it or you don't. Don't be mad when what we're talking about actually manifests and comes into full reality. It's already reality. But when it comes into full operation, do not say that we did not tell you that this was the world bridge currency, not the world currency. This is not the world's currency. XRP is the bridge asset. It's the bridge currency. It takes us from that side of San Francisco to the other side of the bay. That bridge. It takes us from Brooklyn to I forget, to the other side of New York. All right. It takes us from Coronado, San Diego to San Diego downtown. It is the bridge. If I missed any other bridges, it takes us from one side of London to the other side of London. All right. And this bridge will not fall down. It don't matter about the SEC. You can't break this. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and open up the call for anybody that just wants to share one thing they like, learn to love from today's episode. I want to say thank you to all the YouTube family. We're literally at 400 subscribers now. If you have not subscribed, please help us smash our goal of over 400 subscribers today. Yes, it's growing. It's growing the way it needs to grow. All right, I'm going to drop my YouTube link right here. If you all can just do me one favor and just subscribe, just click that button, subscribe for me real quick. Help me get the 400 plus subscribers today. All right, for the efforts that I'm putting in. And I just want to say thank you. If there's anybody, please feel free to raise your hand. If you got one thing you want to share, one thing that you're grateful for, anything, this is the time that we get to connect as a family, as a team, and just build together.
Hello, good morning. Great seeing you. Great seeing everyone. It's great to be here. And I'm definitely grateful for this space for sure, because I know how much time it takes to research. And I can imagine the hours and hours that you lose regarding sleep and everything else that you're up to. But thank you also for sharing the forum that you attended yesterday. But most of all, I feel for Sam. Yes, but at the same time, he knows, and all the interviews that he's done, I just can't imagine a young person spending 165, whether it's 165, 170 years in jail, in prison, but it is about justice as well, justice for all the people that invested, but it also just shows how critical it is for us to do due diligence in anything and everything that we do, all our investments, and that's really, really crucial. So not just jump in without doing the proper research, and this is what this space is so valuable. The other stuff with Andy, what you shared, the long video, is just like some of that just goes all over. So I have to really come back to that video and watch it more closely and really pay attention. But nevertheless, thank you for showing that.
Absolutely, of course. And shout out to Michael Branch. I actually saw him raise his hand, and I'm gonna call on you, Craw Billy. But Mr. Branch, feel free to unmute.
I don't know if you can hear me because I'm in Cracker Barrel.
I can hear you.
Okay. I ran across an article this morning. Now, I didn't write what this sentiment. I can't. I'm having an old person's problem this morning. But anyway, it's OECD. It's the Office of Economic Cooperation Development, and there's a big paper back in 2015 where they love Ripple technology big time, and I believe they're tied to the WEF. And as this YouTuber was going through the document, it was just incredible what they were saying about XRP and the technology. They were saying banks, insurance companies. They listed a whole host of businesses that would use it, and I'm just blown away that far back that this was even being discussed. Because back in 2015, I believe, is when the Chris Larson was put in front of the it was the Federal Faster Payments System, I believe, or I may have that slightly wrong, when Ripple went to see the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve talked to Ripple and 3 other, I think, tech companies, and they were so impressed with Ripple's technology that Faster Payments Task Force, that was the name of that.
Yes.
And they made Chris Larson head of that. So, hey, I'd like to say one other thing. After doing some deep dives, I believe this, and this is just my opinion. I believe that XRP will be so valuable that there will come a point where you won't sell it, that financial institutions, whether it be banks or whoever, you'll be able to stake your XRP for like 20% on your XRP. So you can get, I ran some numbers, low numbers, $83,000 a month as income. I ran some high numbers, $4 million a month. So that's just something to think about. I had some price targets that I was going to begin to sell at. I don't think I'm going to sell. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Man, thank you so much, Mr. Branch. Appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate hearing your voice. Let's go. Let's go. I know Craw Billy got something to say now. Come on up, big bro.
Hey, I live next to a train. I can't help it. Hey, Mr. Branch, when we first met you, you were in Cracker Barrel. The first time we ever saw you, you were in Cracker Barrel. Hey, look, you know, Vince, I have asked people to buy a ledger and buy $100 worth of crypto. Buy $100 worth of XRP, spend $300, and let me help you manage it. Yep. And I know how to now, and I know what not to now, and it's okay because I've learned so much from my how not to. You know, we're all in a different space, but I think that I'm a holder and I'm a networker. I'm definitely a learner, and I mean, all I'm doing is taking this in like sunshine, getting it all in. I think that I'm invested in myself through the crypto coffee on my network is giving me the juice that I need to help others. But you know, I can't do it for others. If I had 10 XRP, I would think I would be probably a rich man. I mean, 100 XRP would probably might make somebody grandchildren rich, or you know, but I just can't teach everybody. Nobody, well, I say nobody, it's hard to teach what they don't understand. It's like I'm preaching. So it's hard even sharing the word of God, right? People sometimes don't want to listen, but everybody needs it. So some good information, a lot of screenshots today, a lot of note taking, you know, so I put off some important calls today to listen to this because I could have watched it on YouTube, but I want the info. I want the info right now, right now, and it can soak in the rest of the day. So it's all good stuff. Appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you, Billy. I appreciate that. That was great. I appreciate.
I think I dropped the link too. I think I dropped the link.
Thank you. Thank you. So with that being said, family, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Oh, my brother Gamel. Can't forget about Gamel. Come on up, brother. Hold up. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Man, I just want to say, I really appreciate I can tell all the time you spent into bringing this content to us, bro. Because like for example, when I'm studying, like let's say I'm studying like I don't know, any crypto, right? I'm
Right.
focused on that crypto, but then I pop in this chat in this Zoom call, and I learn about a lot of different things that I didn't get to. And it's just amazing that you find all this information, because one, it really helps, it keeps us on our toes, and it lets us know how much information out there is available that we don't have, and thanks to you, little by little, we're taking it in, and we're getting smarter every time that we hop on these calls, so thanks to you, man, we're learning a lot more than we would be learning if we were just like studying by ourselves, So you're an amazing mentor, man. I can tell how much time you spend into this, bro.
Yes.
And I really, really, really appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you. And I just want to say, bro, you going through a lot right now. Like y'all don't even know. Like, I mean, people in the community know, but like inside the Discord. But for the people that don't know, Jamel is going through a lot right now. And I'm not going to share your information of what's happening. But bro, for you to even be on this call and still be learning and still trading, still dropping your trade, like it's crazy, bro. Like I don't think you understand how insane you really are, bro. Like you are insane, bro. And insane people make insane people do insane things that will allow them to live a life of that is absolutely insane to others. It's going to be a life. The life that we're going to live, people are going to be like, yo, this is insane. That's going to be the word. Like, it's insane where they came from. It's insane, but it's not going to be. All we did was did the research. And what's the definition of insanity? Insanity is doing something over and over and over again, getting the same result. Bro, we're doing something over and over and over again. And this ain't bad insanity. There's good insanity and there's bad insanity, Jamel. And I want to tell you right now that you're making the best insanity choice. Bro, I'm insane. I'm doing something over and over and over again. All right, expecting the same, the different, whatever result. I'm doing something over. I'm believing in something that others do not believe in. Jamel, you believe in something others don't believe in, and we're expecting a different result. Bro, we're getting results. The market is crashing. The market is going this way. Everybody at this conference came at me. I was doing my thumbnails. People saw blockchain over my shoulder. People coming up to me like, yo, I didn't know. I see that you blockchain. What's going on? Like, what's going on with the blockchain? You still holding? Are you for crypto? Are you not for? Bro, it was crazy the type of feedback I got yesterday just from people knowing what I did, and my friends telling people that that's the blockchain guy. You need to go talk to him. People coming and challenging me, asking me questions. God, you got to remember this, Jamel. We are built for this, bro. This is why we're on this show. We're built for this. It's not about how many people is watching the YouTube. It's not about how many people are plugging in. It's about us, the consistency. Mo is so consistent. You can't come and tell Mo nothing about crypto. He is a warrior for this. Miss Zuli, the same thing. Billy, same thing. Mr. Branch, my mom, everybody, blessed, everybody on the call. You are warriors. We are insane, and that's okay. I want to let y'all know that I do believe that the coffee and crypto community is a very insane community. We're insane in the membrane. We really are. But I promise you, people are never going to forget that we told them to buy this asset called XRP. They'll never forget.
Yep. We're going to leave a mark, bro. Trust.
Yep. For sure. For sure. So with that being said, I want to say thank you all. Listen, do me a favor inside of the YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, go to the YouTube channel for me. This live video from today will be posted right after today. Do me a favor, go to the YouTube and just drop XRP in the comments. Do me a favor. Let's just start flooding. I need y'all help. Like, if y'all gonna be on this call, like, it could be, if it's 15 comments, thank you. If 15 people can just go and drop the word XRP underneath this or whatever you want to drop. It's not going to be XRP. Drop something and it helps me with the algorithm. And they're letting YouTube know that people truly love the show, that they should push it to more people because the only way to push it is through algorithm. I'm learning these things and I can't do it without you. So with that being said, y'all have an amazing rest of your day. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I'll see y'all on Thursday's call for episode number 64, 63, something.